Okay, so maybe you don't want to search around inventory. That's fine. So you can order a Model 3. Now, there is a message up here. Only Model 3 Performance qualifies for the 7500. So this Model 3 does not. But the Model 3 base price, $38,990. Okay, the paint will be midnight silver. All the other ones will cost more money. You get the Aero wheels, black interior. You're not getting enhanced autopilot or FSD. Charging equipment. Now, this is kind of up to you what it is you want to do. I would definitely get a wall connector, but you don't have to. You get a mobile connector. Actually, mobile connector works just fine. You just have to get the right adapter cord, and you can run 240-volt charging. In fact, that's what I did for, well, she's not running 240, but she's running 120. Okay, whatever. So there you go. Midnight silver, black interior. Order that guy. That's made deliveries January, February this year. So it's not very far out. Does that work for you? Let's see. To remind you, the price is $38,990. So basically $39,000. Now, there's a delivery fee. There's some other fees you have to pay, yes. But there you go. Okay, so the first category for picking a car is a commuter. And that is basically, can you drive to work and back? Now, by to work, it's, well, actually, I was thinking about adding your grade in here. It's basically the range. Now, the range on the Model 3 we're talking about here, the EPA range is 272. I haven't actually done a 70 mile per hour range test on one, so I don't know exactly. Well, I think Spec has done one, so I'll have to go back and look at theirs. But let's just say it can make 200, okay? 200 is more than enough for almost any commute you might have. I mean, some people would have longer commutes, I'll give you that. But for most people, they won't drive more than 100 miles. They won't even drive more than 50 miles, actually, but anyway. So from that perspective, the distance, yeah, sure, it's great. Can you park it? Now, most places in Texas, they usually provide parking, but not every place does. I would say, basically, if you can park a Toyota Camry in the spot, you can park this car in that spot. This car is actually just a touch narrower and just a touch longer, but I mean like an inch and a half, comparatively speaking. So from that perspective, it works great. For the seats, there's plenty of room in the front seats. Would I want to put somebody in the back seats? Not an almost 6 foot tall person, not for very long, but they could fit, right? So for an hour, they may cuss you out, but they can survive it. So there you go. So as a commuter car, yeah, this works. Okay, next question here is, can you put 4 adults into this car? Okay, so obviously in the front, yes, there's plenty of space there. And in the back, yes, there's room for 4 adults. Now, there is seatbelts for 5th position. It seems to me it's kind of narrow, but it is there. So technically you could put 5 people in. I'm not sure who would want to do that, but the question is, can you do it? And really part of the answer has to be, how comfortable is it? So from my perspective, it's pretty comfortable. Now, as I usually say when I talk about these cars, this seat is pretty low to the ground. So if you're gonna have a problem getting down this low, you may want to consider something else like a Model Y. But the reason why we're here is we're talking about how low can I get the price on a car. And so for that, this is the choice. Anyway, there you go. Yes, should have no problem fitting 4 grown-up adults into a Model 3. This category is about road trips. So road trips are kind of a strange thing to talk about. It all depends on what you have, what you're doing. So let's start here. So this is the frunk. To give you an idea how deep the frunk is, that's the frunk. This is the trunk, and there's also a sub-trunk. So there's plenty of space to store stuff, depending on what you want to do. Now, you notice my frunk has stuff that I take in case I run into some kind of problem. All right, so that's the space. Now, there's an additional part, and that is this car has camp mode. There is also a variation called dog mode, but anyway. So camp mode allows you to keep the air conditioning on, or heater, overnight, so to speak. So you can fold down the back seats. You can fold down the back seats, and if you have a small mattress, you can lay out that mattress, and there's enough room for an almost 6-foot person there. I know, I've done it. So there's that part. So this part's pretty good. Navigation is pretty good. I mean, you put in a spot, it'll lay out the whole trip for you. And if it requires charging stops, it'll lay out all the charging stops. And as you're going along, if you find, if the navigation finds you need more rapid charging stops, it will adjust. So that part's all good. Okay, so yeah, I don't want to get into FSDs a lot more. So anyway, what was that? Oh yeah, so okay, so this car here actually has FSD. So FSD, I mean, it's not fully ready for it, but it can take a lot of the workload of driving the car off of you, especially on the highway. If you're driving down the highway in a spot where there's not a lot of traffic, it works great. Okay. Now, the one thing, and this might be controversial to some of you, because it may sound biased, but part of what I want to look at is, as part of a day tripper or multi-day tripper, is how's it handle charging. Okay. Why is that controversial, Ray? Well, because Electrify America, I mean, some people have success with Electrify America. Some people, oh, it's the worst thing in the world. I don't know. And so let's start here. The first question is, how quickly can you charge? Right? Oh, I didn't look this up, but okay. So I figured I would split it out. So let's say if the fastest you can charge is 50 kilowatts, you're going to be there for a while. And then let's say the next level would be 150. Well, 150 is what a Tesla version 2 supercharger can do in theory. In fact, I just charged this afternoon in San Antonio, and it immediately went up to 150 real quick. So that part was good. And Electrify America, it's a mix of 150 and 300s. Okay, fine. So the next question is, can you do let's just say Tesla Supercharger 250 version 3, and the version 4 posts they have are still version 3 superchargers in the back end. All right, now in theory, Electrify America has an edge here, in that they advertise they can go 300. Okay, fine. Now, let's come back to this car. And not the car you're looking at right now, the rear-wheel drive car. That rear-wheel drive car, if I remember right, had a slightly reduced charging rate. I was like, 170? I don't know. I don't remember. Is that a big deal? No, not too bad. I mean, it guarantees when Tesla does come out with version 4, you will not be able to take full advantage of it. You can't take full advantage of version 3. But you're looking for a relatively cheap car. You're not looking for a Tesla Model 3 performance, which doesn't have those limits. Okay. So, with all that said, I would give this car high marks, just based upon what I've seen, what I've done with it. So that's where I'm going with it. Okay. So rather than this section's about safety. So rather than giving you how I feel about their safety, I'll use the Insurance Institute of Highway Safety. So in the mid-size luxury car, 4-door sedan, the 2023 Tesla Model 3 is a top safety pick plus. And looking down here, these are all G's. That all looks good. So the latch is what you use for child seats, right? So the two outside rear seats have the latch connectors on them. The middle seat does have the hook for the top, but it doesn't have the latch connectors. So if you were going to use a booster, that's probably where you'd put it. That's accessible. Okay. Superior. So there you go. I invite you to come back, look at what it says here, and you can make your own decisions. This means the Model 3, out of the 4 basic Tesla models, the Model 3 is not quite as safe as the other 3, right? The Model S, the Model X, and the Model Y. The Model Y is the top. Okay, but from a safety perspective, this is a very good car. Okay, this is about charging. I've already kind of mentioned charging in the road trip. You can't road trip, you can't charge. Okay, so anyway, this is my Tesla wall charger. It's actually, to be fair to you guys, this is set up for J1772. I had originally intended to buy my second car as a J1772 or CCS1, but then I changed my mind and now I have this guy. All right, let's see. It's open. Can I hit it? All right. So there's the charging port. All right. Well, I shouldn't say it this way. Let's say it this way. Tesla's made in the U.S. carry NACS, at least most of the time. Okay. Now, we're talking about a Model 3, a rear-wheel drive Model 3. Okay. It has an LFP pack in it. For some reason, the LFP pack doesn't charge quite as fast. This car here in front of me will charge at 11 kilowatts at home, or it's capable of doing it. The Model 3 rear-wheel drive, as I understand it, is like 7.5 kilowatt hours. 7.5 kilowatts. So that sounds, that's really slow. Well, but chances are if you plug in overnight, it will be full by the morning. Okay? So the other question, of course, is what happens if you plug it into a supercharger? I think the superchargers are actually limited for the Model 3 LFPs or rear-wheel drives. I think it's limited to 170 kilowatts. But whatever, that's more than sufficient for a day tripper, or even multi-day tripper. So that works.